Welcome to Silicon Valley Nonprofits, a service of KMVT Community Media. I'm Bev Lenahan, your host. And today our guest is Samantha Brown. She's the Assistant Education Director for ADL. Thanks for coming today, Samantha. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Well, we've got an important subject to talk about today. With so much social media going on today, there's a lot of talk about bullying and bias, both pro and con, and it's a big, big subject. So I'm really anxious for our listeners to know, how is ADL addressing this really big problem?
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of urgency around those things and opinions all around, but ultimately it's about keeping students safe. And so ADL, we were founded in 1913.
Amazing.
Yeah, we've been around a long time. And our timeless mission really has been to protect the Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment for all people. Mm-hmm. And so we are a leading anti-hate organization, and we fight online extremism on ground, and really we have a unique approach to our anti-bias education programming. Ultimately, our goal is to secure and to see a world where people do not suffer from systemic oppression and discrimination and hate. And so how we approach that through our education program is that we believe that if we address the bias attitudes at the most basic level, then we can disrupt the escalation of hate. And ultimately, just as bias is learned, it can be unlearned. So that's where we start and work from the ground up to work with our students to hopefully make a world of difference that is better for them.
So you start with the schools, don't you? You start with the kids, and hopefully you don't have to unlearn things for them. You can just teach them to learn. How does that work?
Yeah, well, we all have biases, right? We're human. We have different perspectives.
We don't think we do. But.
We don't think we do, yeah. Whether it's I like red shoes versus blue shoes, we have bias. And so we want to teach our young people how to be respectful of each other, how to teach each other with dignity, and recognize that we are worthy of acknowledgement and respect because we are all human. And so our young people, we really try to promote diversity. We really try to develop a sense of inclusion and make them all feel welcome and make sure that schools are safe and they're equitable for all of our students.
So this, you can't do this alone. You've got to have partners and folks working with you, the schools. Tell us a little bit about how you get involved with the schools and other partners you have.
So our schools are absolutely our most critical partner, and as we work to widen our impact and improve school culture all around, our school partners are our main stakeholders. And so we have 63 schools that have signed on this year, throughout the Bay Area for our No Place for Hate School Climate Initiative. We also have schools and communities that we work with in the state of Utah. So again, we're trying to widen our reach, but really our program is about positioning students to lead, right, on their school campuses and be those ones that make the change that they want to see. And so some of our key partners, we have a couple local districts like San Ramon Valley Unified School District, who has 18 schools in their district that participate in our initiative, and they are returning partners. We have schools in West Contra Costa, Alameda Unified is a key partner of ours. College Preparatory Academy in Oakland also employs some of their students to help us widen that impact through our peer training program. So it really is, again, about positioning our young people to lead and to make that change.
How do you identify these young people within the school districts? That should be interesting.
Well, there is a sense of urgency. There is a real movement going on from schools to change the culture around bias and bullying. And so many times we don't have to call them, unfortunately. They do call us, and we're able to help them and get them on the right road. And let me be clear that schools are already doing a lot of wonderful things and are already doing a lot of wonderful work. And so what our program does is help them highlight the diversity work and the inclusion work that they're already doing.
So the educational piece of what you bring to it can speed things up for the schools sometimes in terms of what their goals are, right?
Yeah, so our No Place for Hate initiative is a year-long initiative that schools have to commit to. And so they really need to be thinking about how do they bring that anti-bias and anti-bullying programming into their schools in an authentic way, because ultimately the goal is to build community and develop ally skills through these initiatives so that we can work better together.
And so what grades are you covering in your schools?
So we are K through 12.
Oh my!
So
that's
all the way
ambitious.
through. Yeah.
Really
We
ambitious.
have a little something for everybody. A little something for everybody, and we do that in various ways. So we have some very practical ways through our standards-based curriculum, through literature. We also offer anti-bias workshops for students, staff, teachers, parents, and other community members to really rally around creating safe and equitable school climate.
Well, that's got to be a challenge because there's so much media going on. So what tools do you use to reach out to not only the students, but also your potential partners, your other schools?
So a lot of our clients and partners come by word of mouth, believe it or not.
Very good.
Yeah, so it is all about the work that we do and the impact that we make. Many of us go out and facilitate workshops, we do presentations, we sit at fairs, anything that can get us to be part of the community and help community members realize that we are here to assist and we're here to support them in making a contribution to positive school climate.
So you must have educators who work with you to develop your curriculums and your programs. How does that work?
So all of our anti-bias curriculum is research-based. It is standards-based. So it can be used in classrooms to meet classroom standards, because we do understand also that a lot of times teachers are challenged with kind of trying to divide up their time, right? And so they have outcomes they have to meet.
Yes.
They have to, give tests. They have to give homework. Parents have expectations. And so we want to be able to provide tools that help them authentically incorporate, right, these skills into what they're doing every day. And so we have facilitators that are on ground that go out and they act as support. We have education liaisons that our school partners are able to reach out to, and that can support them when they have issues or concerns, when events happen at schools. And so we really try to surround them with support and really create like a high impact practice.
So that brings me to a little bit of tracking. Are you tracking some of your successes along the way so that people are motivated to continue the programs?
Yeah, there are so many positive examples throughout the country of the No Place for Hate initiative. So we have 25 offices across the country.
Oh my.
Yeah, we are but one. So we are the Central Pacific region. And so through our district, there are so many positive student-led initiatives going on. And so we often hear stories about students who were once feeling invisible, feeling unheard, but now feeling empowered, right, to speak up and to be allies for other students, or who feel like they now have a place and they are stakeholders in the community, as well as their parents, because that's an important part too, is that we make sure that that circle of community, right, is continuous and that it flows. And so that does include parents, that does include other people in the community.
Mm-hmm. That's how we can break this cycle of behavior we don't want and begin to build that behavior that we do want.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. We have to model that behavior for our young people.
So give our viewers just a sample of what a story looks like. What would be one of your typical students, and what would be the situation, and how have the outcomes come about?
So much of the issues that we deal with in schools is around identity-based bias and identity-based bullying. And so our studies do show that after 5th grade, that students don't want to tell a teacher. They don't want to tell adults. So all those things we tell young people, right? Seek out a safe adult, find someone who's your friend, make sure that, there's someone safe around you. After 5th grade, they kind of fall back on that. And so for us, that looks like a student coming together with other students and really creating their own kind of center, their own place on the campus. And so
peer-to-peer. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that peer-to-peer model is very important. So for many of our schools, they have created alliances or coalitions where they have come together with other clubs and other student organizations, with PTAs and administrators to make sure that they are creating a safe and inclusive environment.
Can you tell me about a particular student that you recall?
Yeah, so we have a school in West Contra Costa who was being bullied because of her identity and not feeling safe to express herself. And she had expressed that to a teacher, asking the teacher not to say anything. And of course, the teacher was worried about her, but instead created a community circle in the mornings where students were able to come in and talk about how their day started off. So before they got to do anything. And what she found was that students were sharing things, right, that set the mood and set the tone for their behavior. And so she realized that giving them that 5 minutes to relate, right, to say, like, I see you today, right, you're not just this student, we're not just coming here to do math, but I see you and I appreciate you, gave students a sense of community and the ability to relate to each other in a way that they hadn't thought before. And so it really improved classroom relations and the ability for students to work across differences.
You're a real person, right?
Yeah, you're a real person, yeah.
And you matter.
Yeah,
and we're here
are
together, so let's just learn.
Absolutely.
Right? That makes so much sense to me. That makes so much sense. So how did you become a part of ADL?
So I ultimately, first I was a facilitator for ADL. My mentor, Jacqueline Regev, sought me out. She came to my workplace before and did a workshop for us. And because it was in my line of interest, she became a mentor to me, and then my previous director. And so I was able to really get involved and learn about the work that we do through School Climate, and that just prompted me to want to do more. And so here I am.
Oh, very good. Well, I'm sure you're doing a great job. And I had no idea how vast the network is for the work you do. So as part of what you're doing, making sure that the curriculum gets spread far and wide?
Yeah, so our curriculum is always under check. We have wonderful people that are always, again, researching, making sure that what we do is relevant to students' needs, making sure that it is useful, that it is impactful. But yeah, part of that job is saying to educators that, hey, there is a way that we can talk about community and that we can address these issues, while teaching the academics as well. Because we know if students don't feel safe and they don't feel inclusive, then they don't learn well.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that true? Mm-hmm. So I would imagine social media is a part of your outreach. As much as it is for bullies and bias, it's probably a great tool for your program as well. How does that work? You have a Facebook page?
So we do have a Facebook page, and Facebook, Twitter are really, really, really popular things. So we follow our schools as well as they follow us, and that's really fun because we get to see the wonderful things that they're doing. But often, again, even though online and social media is a popular thing, that human connection is what's most valuable for us.
I think it's true in most cases, for sure. Yeah. Well, we want people to be able to get a hold of you, either to volunteer, or learn more about your program, or get involved in some way. So how can people reach ADL?
Sure. So we are online at www.adl.org, or you can call our offices at 415-985-3100. And we are local. We are here to help. So we hope that if you reach out to us, that we can be a great resource for you in helping you improve your school climate.
Well, reaching out nationally, but acting locally.
Absolutely.
Really important.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so very much for your time today, Samantha, and good fortune on your program. And let's just get rid of hate. We don't need it in our world.
Let's fight hate for good.
That sounds great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.